Every morning, before the emails, the meetings, the rush of the world, you have a moment. A moment to set the tone for your day, to remind yourself of what really matters. What you tell yourself in that moment can shape everything. So here are 9 things to tell yourself daily. 9 reminders to keep you focused, grounded, and moving forward. Before you step into the day, remember why you do what you do. When we have a purpose, obstacles become stepping stones, not roadblocks. We can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we respond. The mindset you choose determines whether today will be a struggle or an opportunity. Perfection is an illusion that holds us back. Aim to be better than yesterday, not flawless. Small steps lead to big change. Doubt will creep in, fear will whisper, but every challenge is a chance to prove to yourself that you are capable, resilient, and prepared. Growth lives outside the comfort zone. When things feel difficult, remind yourself, this is where real transformation happens. The way you talk to yourself matters. Speak to yourself as you would to a friend. Encourage, uplift, and support your own journey. Nobody has it all figured out. Life is about learning, adapting, and being open to growth. The best leaders, the best thinkers are the ones who keep learning. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. Even on the hardest days, there is something worth appreciating. We don't get today back. This is your time to show up, to contribute, to take a step towards something meaningful. When you remind yourself of these things daily, you build a mindset that fuels success, fulfillment, and resilience. Because the world doesn't shape us, our thoughts do. And the right thoughts, repeated daily, can change everything. Every morning, before the world rushes in with its demands, distractions, and noise, you have a choice. You can start your day on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes your way, or you can take control. The difference lies in a simple but powerful reminder: I have a purpose. Purpose is not just a lofty idea. It's the foundation for everything we do. It is the reason we push through challenges, the force that keeps us moving when motivation fades, and the compass that ensures we don't drift aimlessly. Without purpose, we risk being pulled in every direction, constantly busy but never truly fulfilled. That's why, before anything else, we need to remind ourselves of why we do what we do. Think about the most inspiring people you know, leaders, creators, innovators. What sets them apart is not just talent or intelligence, but a deep connection to their purpose. They don't wake up wondering what the day will bring. They wake up knowing exactly why they are here and what they are working toward. That clarity gives them energy, resilience, and an unshakable sense of direction. But here's the thing, purpose isn't something we find, it's something we define. Too often, people wait for some grand revelation, expecting their purpose to appear like a lightning bolt. But purpose isn't discovered in a single moment. It's built over time, shaped by our experiences, passions, and values. It's a decision to focus on what truly matters and let that guide our actions. When you wake up and tell yourself, I have a purpose, you're not just repeating words. You're reinforcing a mindset. You're choosing to approach the day with intention. You're reminding yourself that your work, your relationships, your choices, they all mean something. And when you operate from a place of purpose, everything changes. Challenges don't seem as overwhelming because you see them as part of a bigger journey. Setbacks don't define you because your purpose is stronger than any single failure. There will be days when purpose feels distant, when doubt creeps in, when the weight of responsibilities makes you question whether what you're doing even matters. That's normal. Purpose isn't about feeling inspired every moment of every day. It's about commitment. It's about showing up even when it's hard, even when progress is slow, even when no one is watching. To truly live with purpose, you have to connect with it daily. That might mean reflecting on why you started, remembering the impact you want to have, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the meaning behind even the smallest actions. Maybe your purpose is to build something meaningful. Maybe it's to help others grow. Maybe it's to challenge yourself to be better than you were yesterday. Whatever it is, own it, speak it, remind yourself of it constantly. And here's the most important part. Purpose is not just about you. The greatest sense of fulfillment comes from knowing that what you do contributes to something bigger than yourself. It's not just about achieving goals or personal success. It's about making a difference in whatever way you can. Purpose-driven people don't just ask, what do I want? They ask, how can I serve? How can I add value? How can I make an impact? Imagine waking up every day with that level of clarity. Imagine stepping into every challenge knowing exactly why you're willing to push through. Imagine ending each day with the confidence that no matter what happened, you lived with intention. That's the power of purpose. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before the world tries to pull you in 100 directions, take a breath. Tell yourself, I have a purpose. Say it like you mean it. Because when you truly believe it, you won't just go through the motions. You'll lead, you'll create, you'll inspire. And that's how real change begins. Every day we wake up to a world full of uncertainty. Things don't always go as planned. Some days feel smooth and productive, while others feel like an uphill battle. There will be moments when things fall into place effortlessly, and then there will be times when nothing seems to go right. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of perfection, to believe that if we just work harder, try more, and eliminate every mistake, then we'll finally feel accomplished. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. It's a moving target that can never truly be reached. What truly matters is progress, not perfection. Perfection convinces us that we have to wait until everything is just right before we take action. It makes us hesitate, overthink, and second-guess ourselves. It tells us that if we can't do something flawlessly, then maybe we shouldn't do it at all. But this mindset holds us back. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't get there because they were perfect. They got there because they were willing to take the first step, to keep going despite the missteps, and to learn as they went. They understood that perfection is not the goal, growth is. Think about a time in your life when you learned something new. Maybe it was a skill, a project, or a personal challenge. Were you perfect at it from the start? Probably not. In fact, you probably made mistakes. You stumbled, struggled, maybe even failed. But every mistake taught you something. Every setback helped you improve. That's the power of progress. It builds resilience, confidence, and real success. When you focus on progress over perfection, you shift your mindset from fear to action. Instead of worrying about whether something is perfect, you start asking, am I getting better? Am I learning? Am I moving forward? These are the questions that lead to real achievement. Because the truth is, perfection is rigid. It doesn't allow for growth. But progress is fluid. It allows you to adapt, to improve, and to evolve. One of the greatest dangers of chasing perfection is that it often leads to inaction. You might have big dreams, exciting ideas, or ambitious goals, but if you keep waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect version of yourself, you'll stay stuck. There will never be a moment when everything aligns perfectly. The only way to make progress is to start now, with what you have, where you are, and who you are today. Some of the most innovative ideas, the biggest breakthroughs, and the most impactful movements began imperfectly. They started as rough drafts, messy attempts, and uncertain first steps. But they grew because the people behind them didn't let imperfection stop them. They kept moving forward, refining, adjusting, and improving along the way. Choosing progress over perfection also means being kind to yourself. It means understanding that mistakes are not failures, they're feedback. Every time you fall short, you learn. Every time you try again, you grow. Instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect, celebrate the fact that you are improving. Because when you focus on progress, every effort counts. This mindset shift is not just about work or achievement. It applies to every area of life. Relationships grow through effort, not perfection. Skills develop through practice, not instant mastery. Confidence is built by taking action, not by waiting until you feel completely ready. The most successful and fulfilled people are not the ones who get everything right all the time. They are the ones who are willing to take action, make mistakes, and keep going anyway. So as you move through your day, remind yourself, progress is the goal. Take the first step, even if it's small. Learn from every experience, even the tough ones. Keep going, even when it's difficult. Because real success isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, learning, and growing every single day. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or try to control the outcome, things don't always go the way we expect. There will be moments when everything feels uncertain, when challenges arise out of nowhere, and when the path forward isn't clear. In these moments, the one thing that makes the biggest difference isn't luck, talent, or even experience. It's the ability to take control of what truly matters. Your mindset, your actions, and your effort. There is a powerful realization that can change everything. You are in control, not of everything, of course. You can't control the weather, the economy, or the way other people behave. You can't control the setbacks or obstacles that will inevitably appear in your life. But what you can control is how you respond. You can control your attitude, your focus, and the choices you make every single day. And that is where true power lies. It's easy to feel powerless when things don't go our way. When we experience failure, rejection, or disappointment, we often tell ourselves a story, one that says, "This isn't fair. I can't change this. There's nothing I can do." But those are just thoughts, and thoughts can be rewritten. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you can choose to see yourself as the driver of your own life. You may not have control over everything, but you always have control over how you show up. Think about two people facing the same difficult situation. Let's say they both lose their jobs. One person sees it as the end of the road. They dwell on the frustration, the unfairness of it, and let the situation define them. The other person, however, sees it as a challenge to overcome. They recognize that while they can't change what happened, they can control what happens next. They update their resume, reach out to contacts, learn new skills, and start looking for new opportunities. Same situation, two different responses. The difference, one person focuses on what they can't control, while the other focuses on what they can. When you realize that you are in control of your mindset, your attitude, and your actions, everything shifts. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop looking for excuses. Instead, you start taking responsibility. You start looking for solutions instead of problems. You start making decisions that move you forward instead of keeping you stuck. Taking control also means recognizing the power of small choices. Big changes don't happen overnight. They happen through the small decisions you make every day. You control whether you hit snooze or get up and start your day with purpose. You control whether you focus on problems or solutions. You control whether you let fear stop you or push through anyway. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when things feel overwhelming, and when it seems easier to give up. In those moments, remind yourself that no matter what happens, you are still in control of one crucial thing, your response. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," remind yourself, "I have overcome challenges before and I will do it again." Instead of dwelling on the problem, shift your focus to the next step forward. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about recognizing that no matter what happens, you always have a choice. You can choose to focus on what you can control. You can choose to keep moving forward. You can choose to take action instead of waiting for the perfect conditions. So as you go through life, remember, you are in control, not of everything, but of the things that truly matter. And when you take ownership of your mindset, your actions, and your responses, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You step into the driver's seat. You create momentum, you build resilience, and in the end, that is what makes all the difference. Discomfort is something most people try to avoid. We prefer ease, certainty, and stability. We want to feel safe, in control, and confident in what we're doing. But the truth is, the greatest moments of growth, learning, and transformation come from discomfort. The things that challenge us, that push us beyond what we think we're capable of, are the things that shape us the most. That's why embracing discomfort isn't just important, it's necessary. Think about any skill you've ever learned, any success you've ever had, or any moment in your life where you truly became stronger. It didn't happen when things were easy, it happened when things were hard. Growth is not a comfortable process. It requires stretching beyond what feels familiar. It requires making mistakes, taking risks, and stepping into situations where you don't have all the answers. And yet, we often resist this. We tell ourselves that if something is uncomfortable, maybe it's not for us. If something is difficult, maybe it's a sign to stop. But the opposite is true. Discomfort is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you are moving forward. There's a reason why people who push themselves outside their comfort zones often achieve incredible things. It's because they've trained themselves to see discomfort not as something to avoid, but as something to lean into. When an athlete wants to get stronger, they don't stay at the same level of training forever. They push themselves harder, lift heavier, and run faster even when it's painful. When a leader wants to grow, they don't avoid difficult conversations or challenging decisions. They face them head on. Growth requires discomfort. The problem is most people let discomfort scare them. When they try something new and it feels awkward, they assume they're not good at it. When they step into a challenge and it feels overwhelming, they assume they're not capable. But the feeling of discomfort is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're learning. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person had moments where they felt like they didn't know what they were doing. The difference is they didn't let discomfort convince them to quit. One of the biggest misconceptions about growth is that confidence comes first. People believe that once they feel ready, they'll take action. But that's not how it works. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel prepared. Confidence comes from doing things that scare you. The more you face discomfort, the more resilient you become. The more you step into uncertainty, the more capable you feel. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. This applies to every area of life. If you want to improve your career, you have to take on challenges that stretch your abilities. If you want stronger relationships, you have to have honest, sometimes difficult conversations. If you want to build a business, create something new, or make an impact, you have to be willing to step into the unknown. Everything you want exists outside your comfort zone. The question is, are you willing to go there? The people who make the biggest impact in the world are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most experienced. They are the ones who are willing to be uncomfortable. They are willing to put themselves in situations where they might fail. They are willing to struggle, to learn, and to grow. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to adjust and improve. So the next time you feel discomfort, don't run from it. Recognize it for what it is, a sign that you are growing. Instead of thinking this is too hard, tell yourself this is making me stronger. Instead of saying I'm not ready, remind yourself I'll never feel ready, so I might as well start now. Instead of avoiding discomfort, lean into it, because in the end, the choice is simple. You can stay comfortable and stay the same, or you can embrace discomfort and become something greater. The choice is yours. Life is full of distractions. Every day we are pulled in 1,000 directions. Emails, notifications, expectations, and obligations. We juggle responsibilities, chase deadlines, and try to keep up with the endless demands placed upon us. In the middle of all this noise, it's easy to lose sight of one of the most important truths. You are enough. Too often we measure our worth by what we accomplish, how much we achieve, or how we compare to others. We tell ourselves that we'll feel successful when we hit the next milestone, that we'll finally be good enough when we earn the promotion, receive the recognition, or prove our value to the world. But this way of thinking is a trap, because no matter how much you accomplish, there will always be another goal, another challenge, another reason to feel like you need to do more. Real confidence doesn't come from external validation. It comes from knowing deep down that who you are right now is enough. It doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or that you don't push yourself to improve. It simply means that your worth isn't tied to achievements, status, or the opinions of others. You don't have to prove yourself to be valuable. You already are. Think about the people you admire, not just for what they've done, but for who they are. The ones who walk into a room with quiet confidence, who don't need to seek approval, who are comfortable in their own skin. They aren't constantly chasing validation because they've already given it to themselves. They don't need to be perfect, and they don't let fear of judgment stop them from showing up as their authentic selves. That kind of confidence doesn't come from success. It's what allows success to happen. When you believe that you are enough, everything changes. You stop comparing yourself to others because you understand that your path is your own. You stop seeking permission to take up space, to share your ideas, to pursue what matters to you. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are worthy because you already know it to be true. But this mindset doesn't come naturally. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need to be more successful, more productive, more accomplished. Social media shows us highlight reels of other people's lives, making it easy to feel like we're falling behind. The key is to remind yourself daily that your worth isn't measured by how much you do, but by who you are. That doesn't mean you won't have doubts. Everyone does. There will be moments when you feel like you're not doing enough, when you question whether you're capable, when you wonder if you're on the right path. But instead of letting those doubts control you, acknowledge them and keep going anyway. Remind yourself that growth isn't about proving your worth, it's about expanding into your full potential. Believing that you are enough doesn't mean you don't have room to grow. It means you understand that growth comes from a place of self-respect, not self-criticism. You don't push yourself because you think you're lacking. You push yourself because you believe in your ability to become even better. So today, remind yourself, you are enough. Not because of what you've achieved, not because of how others see you, but because of who you are at your core. You have nothing to prove. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to seek approval. The only thing you need to do is own your worth, stand in your truth, and move forward with confidence. Because when you truly believe that you are enough, you don't just change the way you see yourself, you change the way you show up in the world. And that is where real success begins.